David Nalbandian losing control. Okay, imagine yourself playing professional tennis, losing a point, and kicking a barrier in anger. Now imagine that behind that barrier was an elderly line judge and you just split his leg open. That's exactly what David Nalbandian did at the 2012 Queen's Cup final. He lost a point, and in a moment of blind rage, kicked the wooden advertising board surrounding the court. But that wooden board wasn't just there for decoration. It had a person sitting behind it. The force sent the board flying into the linesman's leg, and he started bleeding heavily. There was blood everywhere. The poor official looked completely stunned. He had no idea what had happened and why it happened. The crowd booed, and Nalbandian was instantly disqualified, rightfully so. Just like that, the match was over. No trophy, no celebration, just embarrassment all around. He did later apologize for his behavior, but that didn't make a difference. The damage was already done, both literally and to his reputation. This moment's one of the clearest examples of players losing their cool and tennis turning straight up violent. 2009 US Open semifinal. Let's start with one of the most infamous meltdowns in tennis history. Serena Williams at the 2009 US Open semifinal. Serena was facing Kim Clijsters when she got hit with a foot fault, and that's when the rage kicked in. She got completely out of control, reached the lineswoman and said, "I swear to God, I'll take this fucking ball and shove it down your throat." The stadium went dead silent. Nobody was expecting this kind of behavior from someone like Serena. You could feel the tension, even through the TV. The lineswoman reported the threat. The officials came out and asked what happened. Serena argued with them too, trying to clarify what happened, and to prove the lineswoman misheard her. But the officials were having none of it. Serena was given a penalty, which just happened to be match point, and Clijsters won by default. The moment was shocking for everyone, especially coming from Serena, who likes keeping things composed most of the time. She was fined a whopping $82,500 and was put on probation, and to make it worse, she never really got closure on that match. It was one of those moments that defined her career, for all the wrong reasons. The Violent King, Nick Kyrgios. If you googled tennis violence, Nick Kyrgios might just come up top of the list. This man has basically made a career out of chaos. He's done it all, from smashing rackets and insulting umpires to screaming at his own fans. The guy even admitted to deliberately aiming for his opponents. But Wimbledon 2022 was one of the wildest moments of his career. Kyrgios had it all, cursing at the umpire, arguing with the crowd, spitting in the direction of a fan who he claimed was drunk and heckling him, and he even turned on his own coaching box. It was a full-on circus. But that's not all, because in 2019 at the Cincinnati Masters, he completely lost it. Our boy Nick Kyrgios spat at an umpire, refused to shake his hands, and said to him, "You're a fucking tool, bro." Kyrgios even smashed some rackets during the bathroom break. Classic Kyrgios, right? He was fined $166,000 by the ATP. Yes, you heard it correctly. 6 figures for that match. But still, he has his fans. People love the drama and the eyeballs that he brings. But honestly, when you have to be warned for unsportsmanlike conduct every other match, it stops being entertainment and starts becoming a pattern. He might not have injured anyone yet, but if there's one player who constantly toes the line between entertaining and dangerous, it's definitely this guy. Zverev smashes umpire's chair. Alexander Zverev may not be known for outbursts, but he totally snapped in 2022. After losing a doubles game at the Mexican Open, Zverev turned into a violent maniac. He walked over to the umpire's chair and smashed his racket into it. He didn't just do it once. He did it multiple times with the umpire's legs still there. Zverev then went away and took a seat. Everyone thought it was over. But no, he got up again and smashed his racket on his seat once again. The footage is terrifying to watch. The players around him looked shocked. The umpire flinched, and the fans online called it one of the most dangerous moments in recent tennis. He was fined, kicked out of the tournament, and put on probation. Obviously, he issued a quick apology, but the damage was already done. This kind of outburst just isn't acceptable in any sport. We talk about losing your cool, but this was just violent. Jeff Tarango's mid-match walkout. Wimbledon's one of the most prestigious tennis stages in the world. Every tennis player dreams of playing in this tournament in front of the whole world. But Jeff Tarango had other ideas. He may not be a household name, but in 1995, he made tennis history in the weirdest way possible. During a match at Wimbledon, he got into a shouting match with the umpire. He kept on challenging the umpire's decisions, arguing with him, and received one violation after another. After the umpire gave him another code violation for verbal abuse, Tarango decided that's it. He threw the balls he had in his right hand, picked up his bag, and left the court. He just left mid-match at Wimbledon. Tarango even called the umpire corrupt. But the story gets even crazier after that. After the match, Tarango's wife apparently hunted down the umpire and slapped him. Yeah, physically slapped the man across his face. This guy deserved a lesson at some point. He can't do whatever he likes just because he's sitting on the chair. This is what Tarango's wife said after claiming that she'd slapped the ump. This is the kind of drama you'd expect in a soap opera, not at center court. It was wild, it was violent, and it was unforgettable. Eli Nastasi's racist rant Nastasi was once the sport's finest, but in 2017, he reminded everyone he was also its first bad boy. Nastasi was captaining the Romanian team at a Fed Cup tie between Romania and Great Britain, where he completely lost control. He made a racist remark about Serena Williams' unborn child, hurled sexist insults at Johanna Konta and her team, but he didn't stop with that. When the officials tried to intervene and stop the situation from escalating, he targeted them too and cussed them out. Nastasi was banned for 4 years from all ITF events and was also fined $10,000. This wasn't just trash talk. This was verbal violence that crossed every line in the book. Marcelo Rios's off-court violence. Marcelo Rios, the former world #1 from Chile, had one of the shortest and strangest peaks in tennis history. But things got really dark after tennis. He was accused of multiple assaults, including allegedly hitting photographers and being involved in domestic disputes. One of the ugliest incidents came when a journalist accused him of physically threatening her during an interview. But that's not it. Rios was arrested in Rome in 2021 after allegedly punching a taxi driver and then fighting with the policeman who arrested him. While Rios was never convicted of anything major, the sheer number of accusations paint a picture of someone who clearly struggled with anger issues. Unlike most players on this list, Rios's violent tendencies seem to carry over into real life. Bernard Tomic's dad going violent. Bernard Tomic's career has always been messy, but the wildest part might have come from his dad. In 2013, John Tomic, Bernard's father and coach, was arrested for headbutting Bernard's hitting partner, fracturing his nose, and giving him a concussion. All this over a disagreement over practice, and John also claimed he was acting in self-defense. The victim, Thomas Drouet, said he was assaulted in a hotel in Madrid when John called him to have a quiet word with him. John was banned from all ATP events for over a year, and the media had a field day. Meanwhile, Bernard didn't exactly help things with this behavior either. He was showing up late to matches, tanking games, and basically not caring. It was one of the weirdest and most violent family-related incidents in tennis. Stefanos Tsitsipas hits his dad. Before you guys lose your cool, let me tell you it was an accident. But during the ATP Cup, Tsitsipas was fuming after a bad point. He smashed his racket in frustration and accidentally hit his own father, who was sitting nearby, coaching. His dad immediately stood up and left. He was holding his arm when the camera zoomed in and was in pain. His mom, who was watching in the crowd, walked to Tsitsipas and scolded him in front of the whole crowd. It was a classic mom lecture on live TV. Sure, it was an accident, but it just shows how violent and out of control players can get when emotions boil over. Karolina Pliskova smashes ump's chair. Things got visibly out of hand at the 2018 Italian Open in Rome. After a brutal match against Maria Sakkari, tension peaked over a disrupting line call in the deciding set. Pliskova was fuming, and near the end of the match, she grabbed her racket and viciously smashed the umpire's chair. She smashed it so hard that it carved a hole in the chair. The crowd gasped, and the social media clips quickly went viral. It wasn't just frustration. It was a direct act of aggression towards officiating equipment, something that we don't see too often. At that level, she was rightfully fined after the incident. The report said it was a 4-digit amount, Everyone from the fans and journalists discussed whether it crossed the line from emotional release into an actual violent misconduct. Pliskova later described it as the worst I've behaved in a Grand Slam, but the damage to her reputation was already done. Martina Hingis reportedly attacks ex-husband tennis sensation. Martina Hingis was accused of hitting her ex-husband with the help of her mom and her boyfriend. Martina's ex, Thibault Houghton, said he was sitting in his apartment, minding his own business when the doorbell rang. He opened the door, and it was Martina and her mother. He claimed Martina and her mother pounced on him, beating and scratching him. Houghton said he resisted every effort, but her mother's partner, Mario Widmer, struck him in his head with a DVD player. This shows that in tennis, things can get pretty violent off court as well. If you enjoyed this one, subscribe to the channel because I'll be posting a lot here. Until next time.